Welcome everyone to my channel. If this is your first time here, pull up a seat, sit down, we're going to talk. If you haven't been here before, why don't you pull up a seat? If you have been here before, pull up a seat. You know what to do. Okay, so this is my lovely reading wrap-up for August. Non-spoiler review. Okay, we're not going to spoil this time. So the first one is, of course, Arsène Lupin versus Sherlock Holmes. There's actually two types of stories in here, not just one, but two. They're both the same type of thing. Arsène Lupin versus Sherlock Holmes 1 and Arsène Lupin versus Sherlock Holmes 2. Okay? So, here it is. I'm Leanne, your host, by the way, if you didn't know that already. Arsène Lupin versus Sherlock Holmes Story 1 by Maurice Leblanc. What made me read this story? It's Arsène Lupin, and it's pretty good so far. So, Arsène Lupin vs. Sherlock Holmes is the second book in the Arsène Lupin stories written by Maurice Leblanc. The battle was between Lupin and the celebrated English detective Sherlock Holmes is closely followed by all of France. In a game of one-upmanship that keeps the readers engaged in two adventures until the last minute, it is a game that either adversary could win. Is a lady with distinctive blonde hair a killer? Who does she work for? Has Lupin finally met his match in Sherlock? This story is part of a series called Arsène Lupin, and unfortunately I do not have all of them, and I will not get all of them, which is a sad thing. This genre is considered to be historical mystery fiction. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but it's mystery fiction, really. Historical as well. What did I think of the story? It was okay. I didn't like how Sherlock Holmes, aka Sherlock Holmes, was portrayed, nor Dr. John Watson as Dr. James Wilson. It's just just terrible. Does this live up my expectations? No, not really. But that's just me. I like longer stories, and I like things that are more portrayed. Like Sherlock Holmes is supposed to be one set of things, and it's like his whole total personality is like twisted, and I didn't like that. Should you go and read this story/series? Yes, if you love Arsène Lupin, Magic Kaito, or reading about thieves that escape capture. Okay? Now, for Arsène Lupin versus Sherlock Holmes 2, of course, what made me read this story is Arsène Lupin. Duh. Same backstory as well. Can Sherlock Holmes do what he needs to do? But this is about a Jewish lamp and people being pressured. Who is the real madman behind the stolen items? At least that's what I think it should be. This is part of a story called, part of a series called Arsène Lupin. The genre is considered historical mystery fiction, of course. What did I think about the story? It's same as the first one. Sherlock Holmes is a little more humble than this one, only because he gets the deductions wrong, which Sherlock Holmes would never do. So that's what makes the difference between Sherlock and Sherlock. That Sherlock doesn't really make bad decisions or bad deductions. Sherlock Holmes apparently makes a bunch of them. Did this live up to my expectations? It was a little better because Sherlock was able to admit defeat in a more crisp manner than before. Should you go and read this story/series? Yes, if you love Arsène Lupin, Magic Kaito, and or reading about thieves that escape capture in any way, shape, or form. The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. When we read this book, it is the second book in the Robert Langdon series, and it is the second movie as well. Which, if you haven't seen the movie, you should go totally watch the movie. It's freaking action-packed paced, okay? While in Paris, Harvard symbologist Robert Langdon is awakened by a phone call in the dead of the night. The elderly curator of the Louvre has been murdered inside the museum. His body and the floor around him is covered in baffling symbols. As Langdon and a gifted French cryptologist, Sophie Nueva, sort through the bizarre riddles, they are stunned to discover a trail of clues hidden in the works of Leonardo da Vinci, clues visible for all to see and yet ingeniously disguised by the painter. Even more startling, the late curator was involved in the priory of the Siam, an actual secret society whose members included Sir Isaac Newton, Victor Hugo, and Da Vinci, among others, and he guarded a breathtaking historical secret. Unless Langdon and Nueva can decipher the labyrinthine puzzle while avoiding the faceless adversary who shadows their every move, the explosive ancient truth will be lost forever. That's the basic gist of this. This story is part of a series called Robert Langdon, and there are a total of 5, maybe 6 books in the series. I think I have 5. No, wait. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 5. There's 6 books in the series. The 6th one just came out not that long ago. Literally, like a couple weeks ago, a couple months ago. I don't know when you're going to see this, but literally came out in 2025. The genre is to be considered mystery, thriller, and historical fiction. Only because it deals with historical past and the mysteries evolving around the historical past and less to do with actually being based in the history. What did I think of the book? I love the trace, the thriller of it all, and the time crunch to clear your name, because Wrapup it's the second time he's got to go on a time crunch to solve mysteries. This one definitely to save his own name. The other one was to, save people. This lived up to my expectations. Yes, it was better than the movie, because a lot more details in it, and a lot more Russian action-packed shit going on inside of it. Should you go and read the story/series? Yes, if it is historical even if inaccurate for most of the time, but it's still really good with a lot of action and adventure within it. Rebel's Creed by Daniel B. Green. When I read this book, I read the first one and wanted to see if he improved this writing since then. Answer, yes. That's the long answer. That's a short answer. The long answer, I don't have enough time to get into the long answer. Under the Almighty, an empire has been forged, bringing peace to the once divided continent. But now, a spark of truth threatens to ignite the religion and only brought the 7th Precinct to their demise. Now, Sir Holden Sanders, known throughout the capital as the Survivor, seeks the truth of how so many he held dear were slaughtered. But when it comes to light, his former mentor might still draw breath. The officer of God is forced to wage war against the Almighty itself. This is part of a series called Lawful Times. There's currently 2 books in the series. There is a 3rd one planned, but who knows when that one's going to come out. Right now, it's 2025. Who knows when it's going to come out? This wasn't even printed in 2025. So it's been longer than that. When did this book come out? So I can tell you how long it's been. 2021. So it has been 4 years since this book has come out, and there is still no insight on when it's going to have the 3rd book drop. Even though he's working on it. Last I knew, he was working on a book called Better Than Dead, something like that. The book is the genre is considered to be grim dark fantasy. What did I think of the book? It was okay. He did improve his writing, though I thought some of the stuff could have been done with that, or combined both book 1 and book 2 into one book might have been better. Did this live up to my expectations? Did this live up to my expectations? For what it was, yes. It was an improved writing within the book. It was improved. That's what my expectations were. So that his writing improved. Yes, it has. Should you go and read this story/series? Yes, if you want to support a YouTuber, a fantasy writer, an all-around great guy who's trying to do the best that he can do in this world, including survive controversy. How to Be a Pirate by Cressida Koa. What manner of book? It is the 2nd book in the series, okay? So, when Hiccup finds a coffin at sea, he opens it to discover a riddle that will lead to the treasure of Grimbeard the Ghastly, the world's greatest pirate and Hiccup's ancestor. Setting out on a treasure hunt, Hiccup and his friends must master the art of sword fighting. How else will they escape an island of homicidal dragons, defeat a boatload of pirates, and survive a dirty double cross? This is part of a series called How to Train Your Dragon. Okay, so Hiccup's still trying to learn how to train his dragon, still trying to train himself, and everything else in between. This genre is considered to be action and fantasy for, children. What did I think of the book? It was a fun and fast-paced action-adventure series with a lot of stuff, step-by-step. No real downtime in between. Did it live up to my expectations? Yes, it was a fun read. Should you go and read the stories? Yes, if you enjoy adventure and a fun and fast-paced read. As well as the fact if you enjoyed watching How to Train Your Dragon 1, 2, 3, the How to Train Your Dragon TV series, Rise of Berk, Defenders of Berk, Race to the Edge, liked the mobile video game, Rise of Berk, or even watched the live action movie, How to Train Your Dragon 1, okay, you will like her books, okay, the basis of it, although you'll wish that the Toothless in this one is a big Toothless. That's all I can say about that, okay? Okay. Artemis Fowl and the Eternity Code. What may you read the book? It is the 3rd book in the series. Okay? Can Artemis Fowl leave his criminal past behind? Not quite. At least not yet. He's got one last job, and then he's going to be good. But the job goes horribly wrong. So wrong, in fact, that now a nasty, ruthless billionaire has stolen Artemis' latest invention, a powerful supercomputer that could put the entire fairy world at risk. Artemis must retrieve the stolen technology. He needs help. He needs the fairies. He's got some apologizing to do. Dun dun dun! The story is part of a series called Artemis Fowl. The genre is considered a young teen fantasy. It said adult, but it's not really for a young adult. It's young teen. This is teen shift, okay? It's not young adults. I mean, young adults can do it, enjoy it. I'm not a young adult, but I still enjoyed it. Okay? What did I think of the book? It was good, with risk and life on the line. Literally. Did it live up to my expectations? Yes, it really did. All the action packed that happens in it, all of Artemis Fowl's faults and everything, and his aspirations, it was very good. Should you go and read this story/series? Yes, if you enjoy some mystery, risk, and hanging on for dear life. And, of course, fairies. False Future by Dan Crocos. What made me read this book? It is the third book in the series and the final installment of the series as well. So, the creatures are twitching, shifting back and forth. They don't have bodies. They just have arms. Human arms. 8 black limbs connected together in a ball of muscle. Each arm ends with a hand. 5 fingers tipped in claws. They're like massive spiders without the bodies. My throat closes, and Rice makes a strangled sound, muttering, "Oh my God," under his breath. On the tracks, I see a body clad in a blue uniform. A train operator. A swallow. It feels like swallowing a rock. The black hands lift up and open towards us, like they're seeing with their palms. So True Earth has returned during a massive snowstorm in Manhattan, and this time they have an army. Without Miranda to guide them, Reese, Noble, Sophia, and Peter know they don't stand a chance against the enemy. And once they revive her, Miranda's horrified to find her world in flames. The enemy occupation is brutal, but the director promises to release her hold on the city if her demands are met. Miranda and her team are determined to end the invasion. With her grief over the losses she has suffered fueling her spirit, Miranda knows that this time, sacrifices have to be worth it. So, yeah. In this thrilling novel packed with suspense and deception, Dan Crocos brings Miranda's journey to a mind-bending conclusion as she risks losing everything in the fight for her future. This story is part of a series called False Memory, and it is also the last book in this trilogy. So that means there will be no more of this in my future. The genre is considered to be young adult fiction. What did I think of the book? It was okay for the ending of what it was. A lot of things were definitely curveballs. Up to Wabazoo. Did this live up to my expectations? Yes, it wrapped up everything nicely. Should you go and read the story/series? Yes, if you enjoy reading about alternate universes, clones, fate of the world type of stuff, you should go read it. Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. What made me read this book? It is the first official book in the Realm of the Elderling series and the start of Fitz's story. Young Fitz is the bastard son of the noble Prince Chivalry, raised in the shadow of the royal court by his father's gruff stableman. He is treated as an outcast by all the royalty except the devious King Shrew, who has him secretly tutored in the arts of the assassin. For in Fitz's blood runs the magic skill, and the darker knowledge of a child raised with the stable hounds and rejected by his family. As barbarous raiders ravage the coast, Fitz is growing to manhood. Soon he will face his first dangerous, soul-shattering mission, and though some regard him as a threat to the throne, he may just be the key to the survival of the kingdom. Yeah. So this story is part of a series called The Realm of the Elderlings, which there are 15 within it, and the trilogy The Farseer, which is the very first book in the Farseer trilogy, which is freaking awesome. Okay? The genre is considered to be adult fantasy. What did I think about the book? I loved Fitz's journey from being a 6-year-old, not remembering Jack about before then, to all the way making a name for himself, and being able to do what he needs to do and save his kingdom at the same time, because, plot twists and everything that goes on within this. Did this live up to my expectations? Yes, the start of the growth and adventure of Fitzchivalry is a masterpiece. Though there are sometimes when you could cut out some things within it, but still. You get what he is from the time he is 6 until the end of this story. You get what he is, what kind of person he is, how he's been used and abused, and what he thinks about it all, and how he reacts to it all. It's really good storytelling. Okay? Really good storytelling. Should you go and read the Story Plus series? Yes, if you love unique magic systems, historical fantasy, kings and princes, and the growth of the main character that takes over years. It happens within like 500 pages. Or 400 pages. Yeah. Which happens in like 400 pages. So, you mean like, that's what it is, okay? Okay. So, as you may have noticed, give me a bloody second, I dropped some books. As you may have noticed, August was all set for continuation of series. Every single one of these was part of a series. And I gotta say, I am glad I continued them all. And I have only found none that I have set there in DNF this time around. 2 of them are technically done. And some of them are not. Okay. So, for this one, we still have 8 books for this series left. Okay. We still have 4 books for this one because the 6th one just came out. This one's technically complete for now, although I'm not going to say it is a complete, because even though there is no more to this, there will be another book in the future. This one's the 2nd book in a 12-book series, so definitely not complete. This is the 3rd book in an 8-book series, so I got 5 more to go. This closes out a complete series, so there will never be any more of this going on in my life. And of course, this is technically the 2nd book in a 15-book series, or 16-book series if you count the prequel. And the 1st book in a 3-book series, so there's going to be a lot of going on in my future for that one. And that is the end of August's Wrapup. If you think I deserve a like, comment, or even your lovely subscription, why don't you go ahead and drop that down below. We'll see you next illusion.